Big Wit, good people. Today's 10-minute topic was suggested by Darden, and the topic is new political parties. So Darden picked this topic. We're going to try and stick on it for 10 minutes and speak as independent men, viewing things as we see them and as we feel them. So go ahead, Darden. New political parties.
Yeah. Do you agree, Bernie? Fortunate there, Darren Anthony is on and done. So I said I'd talk about new political parties for a few minutes this evening. Because it seems like that's what it's all about over the last few months. It's all these new parties popping up, new faces, new party whips, new leaders, new governors.
New Pied Pipers.
Yeah, new Pied Pipers, Donnacha, new governors, and new people who want to take control and want to govern us, basically, because that's what it is. But do we really understand what all this is involving, and do we know that we're looking to step into a broken system to try and fix things, something that this government is after turning this country upside down in the last 100 years, because that's how long the same governments have been in, the same parties, yeah. They're all the same people, almost descendants of the same fucking families or whatever.
Yeah.
And here we are trying to get into that, step into that, thinking that forming a new political party or running in local elections is going to solve it. I do think running locally as an independent man, not with no party affiliations or no alliances with anybody, stepping into it that way and having your own manifesto or your own constitution, which would for me would be the Constitution of Éire, 1937 Bunreath. That's what that would be for me. And that would be the only thing, would be to bring back Irish law to the country as an independent man or woman, and stepping into them arenas that way. But setting up political parties and standing into that, it seems to be.
I don't feel any of these political parties have a radical approach to taking down the system or changing how the system operates. They just want to get in there and get a piece of the pie.
Yeah,
walk in that realm without actually trying to make that realm fall. It's not radical. Yeah. It's not revolutionary. It's just repeating the same old nonsense.
Yeah.
More and more political parties, I believe, systematically encouraged to split the vote of the Irish people. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
And none of them are really radical at all in regards to system or, locking criminals up, real criminals, not people that don't pay TV licenses and all this stuff, car tax. Talking about real criminals on a corporate level that have caused harm on the nation. And some people would say committed treason. And I think that some of the language is very soft from these new political parties,
Yeah, they dance around a lot of the hard issues,
Yeah, it's very censored, let's say. If you don't stick within the boundaries that this party is now dictating to you that you have to stay within, you're not welcome in the party.
Yeah.
And there's many new forms of parties and organizations and cliques and groups.
Yeah.
And you often hear along the way, you're either with us or you're against us, or pick a side.
Yeah, you pick a side. You have to pick a side.
That's all divide and conquer nonsense. And as I was saying to you before we start recording and about the National Party thing, I believe that the National Party now, if it had been left alone, and the character assassinations weren't done on Justin Barrett, and if they had been left alone to do their work in peace, I believe that the National Party now, at this stage,
they would be well up there.
It would have encompassed. There'll be no need for all these new political parties, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe a systematic approach by the system, obviously, to kill that, to make that seed die before it got a chance to blossom.
Yeah.
I was never a member of the National Party, and I know some people have their issues with the National Party. I don't really know what too many of them issues would be. I don't really know of anything bad that Justin Barrett has done in his lifetime. You know what I mean? To turn me against him, I suppose. I know everybody has their flaws and all, but I believe that party would be huge by now.
Yeah.
And I believe
I agree with you, Dennis. I agree with you, brother.
Huge.
Like, you have the Irish Freedom Party at the moment who are talking about like leaving or Ireland leaving the EU, and they talk about an Irish exit. That's what, and it would lead to a restoration of a full democratic republic. But like, Herman, as far as if you see this, Herman, as far as I'm aware, it already is a full Irish republic. It's a 32 county era with no borders, and there it is there, and that's what you need to step into instead of pushing your blue book and trying to bring us into a united Ireland like what Sinn Féin are looking for. ERA is already united.
Just we done it to bring it to the doors a few years ago, at the start of the whole Wuhan flu thing. A few was brought it to the doors of Varadkar and Donnelly and Houlihan and a few others. And Herman Kelly actually called us a bunch of scumbags for doing that at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked him late one night on Facebook because he put up an article about there was an article that he put up at the time which was about how Ireland women in their 30s are at the lowest reproductive rate ever since cards have been kept. And just Herman Kelly put it out on his Facebook page as it was indicative of the me generation, that they'd rather have dogs and women and the selfish me. And I said, I think you're missing the point there, Herman. It's more so that they can't fall in love with a man and get into a house and have a family in that house. It's actually to do with the inability to get a family home in this generation, And we had a little back and fro, but yeah, he actually called us a bunch of scumbags for that. And I said, Herman, out of interest, why do you do what you do? Why are you a politician or a public representative? Why do you do it? And he says, I do it for my wife and my 2 children and to give them a good life and to get them into college and make sure they have everything that I want to give them. And I thought, that's the wrong answer for a people's representative,
Yeah.
So for me personally, look, at each to their own. I'm not here condemning the Freedom Party. I'm sure there's some lovely people doing good work in there, but I wouldn't get in behind them. I wouldn't get in.
I struggle myself, and like
too soft,
Yeah, like they dance around a lot of it, and not just the Irish Freedom Party. And this is not just like knocking people here. This is not just a little video to knock people. It was just talking. I'm just speaking facts, and I'm speaking truth and my opinion and how I feel at the moment about the country and about the way things are.
Yeah, another thing is party whips.
Yeah,
party whips are a very dangerous thing, and I hate to see a load of new political parties, not just 1 or 2, already splitting the vote.
Well, that seems to be what's going to be happening.
Developing party whips again. So, trying to challenge the system by copying the system. We all know the party whip has to go. We seen it during the Wuhan flu when they had their block voting. Remember they were over there on the Liffey in the back of the hall that's like that. What's that place called? I forget. But
the little offices there,
Bord Gáis Theatre.
Theatre.
So they done their block voting there, and that was all through the party whip. And few people have been thrown out of these parties when they don't adhere to the party whip, and that's the same thing. It's all you can see it already happening. We're in the formation of these new political parties. If you don't follow their narrative or their things that
you could see
about, you won't be in the party.
No, when we were up in Dublin there for one of the events, I think it was in October or November.
9 minutes gone.
Cool. I think it might have been in October or November. We were up in Dublin, and we were at an event up there, and Derek Bly's party, Ireland First, I think it was, and they were all there, and they had their signs up, and there was loads of people, like people out at the gathering, men and women of ERA. We were all meant to be standing together, but Derek was telling his few people, take them signs down. I don't want them people seen with them signs.
Well, there you go.
Now, that for me was a prime, like there's a divide there, because as the last time I checked, we're all meant to be the same. We're all meant to be together.
10 minutes. We're trying to make sure we don't go off topic. What I would say to you is don't trust, I wouldn't trust any man or woman who proclaims that they would like to get into that system as a politician, because I believe it takes a special kind of creep to be a politician. And we don't need politicians. We need good people.
They're all using that book, by the way. Right, that's why I wouldn't trust them. That's why I wouldn't trust them. Anyway, leave it at that.
That's 10 minutes. We'll try and keep going.